So, uh, I studied physics and business because I figured in order to do a lot of these things, you need to know how the universe works, and you need to know how the economy works. And you also need to be able to bring a lot of people together to work with you to create something, because it's very difficult to do something as an individual if it's a significant technology.
Hey great thinkers and future shapers. Welcome to Rich Rise Revelations, where we unravel the extraordinary life advice and learn the secrets of the rich and wealthy. Get ready to fasten your seatbelts, because today, we're not just exploring insights, we're launching into a transformative journey of wisdom that will ignite the engines of change in your life. Buckle up aboard Musk Magic, your cosmic guide to unlocking the treasure trove of life-changing advice from Elon Musk, a visionary entrepreneur who's not just changing industries but also transforming lives. Brace yourself for Elon's invaluable life advice that's bound to spark a shift in your perspective. Don't forget to hit subscribe and join our amazing community as we take a ride on the wisdom rocket, turbocharging your life's journey through the mindsets of the rich. So let's start, guys.
I was trying to think, what could I say that could actually be helpful or useful to you in the future? And I thought I'd perhaps tell the story of...
When I was young, I didn't really know what I was going to do. When I got older, people kept asking me, but then eventually I thought the idea of inventing things would be really cool. The reason I thought that was because I read a quote from Arthur C. Clarke, which said that a sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. That's really true. If you go back, say, 300 years, the things that we take for granted today would be you could be burned at the stake for, being able to fly, being able to see over long distances, being able to communicate, and having access to all the world's information instantly from almost anywhere on the earth. This is the stuff that really would be magic. It would be considered magic in times past. In fact, I think it actually goes beyond that, because there are many things that we take for granted today that weren't even imagined in times past. They weren't even in the realm of magic. So it actually goes for us beyond that. So I thought, if I can do some of those things, basically, if I can advance technology, then that's like magic, and it would be really cool. I also had sort of a slight existential crisis, because I was trying to figure out, what does it all mean? Like, what's the purpose of things? And I came to the conclusion that if we can advance the knowledge of the world, if we can do things that expand the scope and scale of consciousness, then we're better able to ask the right questions and become more enlightened. And that's really the only way forward. I think about what technology solution is necessary in order to achieve that particular goal, and then try to make as much progress in that direction as possible. I think being a multi-planet species, being out there among the stars, is important for the long-term survival of humanity. But then the part that I find personally most motivating is that it creates a sense of adventure, and it makes people excited about the future. If you consider two futures, one where we are forever confined to it until eventually something terrible happens, or another future where we are out there on many planets, maybe even going beyond the solar system, I think that the second version is incredibly exciting and inspiring, and there needs to be reasons to get up in the morning, Life can't just be about solving problems, otherwise what's the point? It's got to be things that people find inspiring and make life worth living. When my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we slept on the couch and we showered at the YMCA. We were so hot up, we had one computer. So the gist of the website was up during the day, and I was coding at night, 7 days a week, all the time. So I briefly had a gopher in that period, and in order to deal with me, she had to sleep in the office. So I worked hard. Every waking hour, that's the thing. I would say, particularly for starting a company, natural human tendency is wishful thinking. So, a challenge for entrepreneurs is to say, well, what's the difference between really believing in new ideals and sticking to them versus pursuing some unrealistic dream that doesn't actually have merit? That's really a difficult thing to tell. You can't tell the difference between those two things. Yeah, so you need to be sort of very rigorous in their self-analysis. I think certainly being extremely tenacious and then just work like hell. Just have to put in 80 hours, 80 to 100 hours work weeks. All these things improve the odds of success. How do you think about making a decision when everyone tells you this is a crazy idea? Where do you get the internal strength through all of this?
So, but if people think it's impossible, then, or it's going to completely break the federal budget, then they're not going to do it. So after my third trip, I said, okay, well, what we really need to do here is try to solve the space transport problem, and started SpaceX. This was against the advice of pretty much everyone I talked to.
Well, I'd say I actually think I feel fear quite strongly. So as soon as there's the absence of fear, I feel it quite strongly. But yeah, there were times when something is important enough, you learn enough, but you do it in spite of fear. It's normal to feel fear. So, you just feel it and let the importance of it drive you to do it anyway. You could just think it's just accepted probabilities, then that diminishes fear. Drive overcomes fear. It's about believing in the future and thinking that the future would be better than the past. And I can't think of anything more exciting than going out there and being among the stars. So we've just experienced a mind-bending ride through Elon Musk's life-changing advice. If your cosmic engines are revved up and ready for more, don't forget to hit subscribe, join our crew, and spread the stardust across the galaxy. Brace yourselves for the next wave of interstellar wisdom coming your way. Until our next rendezvous, keep soaring for the stars and living a life that's nothing short of preeminence. Hit subscribe now and be part of the Rich Rise Revelations journey. This is your guide through the world of the rich and wealthy. Signing off. Stay stellar and keep your great minds alive.